Heroes Like Us is a series intended at sharing comic book characters from various backgrounds and identities. We won't always get everything right, so feel free to make amendments and corrections in the comments. They're always appreciated. What's not appreciated, however, is any form of hate speech or intolerance, so comments of that nature will be immediately deleted and those users blocked from this channel. This is a place of education and celebration. Welcome to I'm Your Target Demographic, and welcome to our series Heroes Like Us. We are traveling the world looking for all sorts of identities to look at and talk about comic book characters that have those identities. Today we're returning to Australia because we found another handful of characters that we can talk about that have Australian roots. So let's dive in. We're starting with Tank Girl, Rebecca Buck, from Titan Comics and also Dark Horse Comics. Now imagine a futuristic post-apocalypse Australia where our lead drives a tank and fights all sorts of odd characters with her own odd characters as allies as well. She is prone to crude behavior, random acts of sex and violence, utilizing massive weapons and her trademark tank to either outrun or defeat her enemies. She has a boyfriend in this post-apocalypse called Booga, a mutated kangaroo. A 1995 film tanked at the box office, so there have been rumblings of a new reboot starring Margot Robbie. Now, speaking of kangaroos, we've got two characters from Marvel Comics that have both used the name Kangaroo. We're starting with Frank Oliver, the original Kangaroo. Now, Frank Oliver was a boxer who turned into a henchman, and he got these implants that allowed him to jump like a kangaroo. Now, that's a little old school, so most recently, we have another character called Brian Hibbs, who also goes by the Kangaroo. Now, he was inspired by Frank Oliver, and he learned to pull off heists and increase his physical prowess. He was a thief, but he couldn't get these implants, right? He couldn't jump naturally, so instead he used a mechanical suit that served as a armor and as a way to leap long distances. It also gives him a tail weapon, a cannon, other gadgets. He dabbled in becoming a hero for the people of Australia, but the temptation of riches always overcame his desire to do good. Now up next we've got a character who is only fairly recently identified as Australian, because there's a character called Gateway, who we talked about in our first Australian video, and this character was revealed to be a descendant of Gateway. So let's talk about Bishop. Now, if you're not familiar, Bishop is from one version of our future where mutants are captured and killed, so we travel to our present to try to prevent this future. His primary mutation is the ability to absorb energy and then later use that energy as a weapon, or hold this energy and enhance his physical strength and speed. Bishop appeared as a minor supporting character in X-Men Days of Future Past, played by Omar Sy. And now we're going to head over to DC Comics to talk about the Dark Ranger. Dark Ranger is an Aboriginal Australian, originally known just as the Ranger. This hero was inspired by Batman and created a suit to roam the streets to fight crime. His enemies became more violent, meaning he too had to escalate his violence to stop them. At one point, he was recruited by Batman to serve as Australia's Caped Crusader. This is when Batman was seeking to kind of populate the world with protectors. The original Ranger was eventually killed, but like all great heroes, one of his sidekicks took on the mantle of Dark Ranger and replaced him. Now, can you think of more Australian superheroes? These are tough to find. It's taken me a long time to do a part 2, but if you think of some, let me know down in the comments, and make sure that they're ones that are well known enough that I could find some high quality images and there's enough to really talk about. So hopefully you found this interesting. You can check out part 1 if you haven't seen it right here, and check out the whole playlist of Heroes Like Us right here. Thanks for watching.